I would like to be joined by the rest of the NXT turn off, please. We are the Knights of the Eternal Fold. We represent what is good and great in this community. We are an international order of outstanding individuals. And tonight we would like to add somebody to our order of excellence. Torolf.
So, Torolf, when I first came into this game, you were one of the first people that interacted with me in the fighting tournaments. And you were one of the most fun people to fight because of the amount of honor you carried yourself with throughout the tournaments and just how much fun you had. And that attitude, I think, has translated to everyone that you work with, having a lot of great experience and great attitude going forward. And I also want to talk a little bit about how helpful you are. Whenever anyone in the community needs you, you show up. You have helped people through very difficult situations. And I don't think we appreciated it as much, and we didn't vocalize it as much as we needed to. And I am beyond honored to have you up here with us.
Hello, I'm a bad noodle and I have my phone. Sorry guys, bear with me.
It's okay.
So, it's actually really interesting for me to be here, standing here, giving you this speech. Now, I can hit on some of the points that I'm sure are going to be said throughout the other speeches, that they're going to mention how loyal you are and how extremely kind you are, and a force to be reckoned with on the field, and a great listener, and somebody so ready to learn and be open-minded. But before that time getting to know that, I'll get, wow, can you tell I'm nervous? But before there was time spent getting to know all that about you, before there was close to a decade of camaraderie that we now share, there is admiration for the guy who so freely showed the same amount of respect for his opponents on the field, whether they were a seasoned veteran in a one-on-one fight, or a goofy, bushy-eyed college kid in the middle of a lawn trying to outdance your footwork. Admiration for the guy who maybe unknowingly at the time became a leader to an entire generation of our game, all while being their peer and friend along the way. To the people who get to honor you and stand up here and give you this speech right now. That red and white and gray belt favor on your belt that you wear with pride, hanging there is much more than a design of fabric, much more than any thank you any of us could give, and so much more than a representation of mentorship. It's the gate that you opened for me and for many others that allowed us to walk the path that led us to be ingrained into this great community. It's the hundreds and hundreds of hours poured into whipping our asses, but taking the time to break down exactly how you did it. It's the figure eights that we drew in the air to warm up before every fight practice. It's the words of encouragement after every single battle. It's the small grins of pride from the sidelines after they took part in their first tournament in our game. And it's the warm embrace and congratulations they got when they got their first their first gold medal. It's you. It's me. It's every Riverhawk who had the opportunity to walk the path, only because you were there to be a guiding hand, all while walking down the path at the same time as us. And while nothing will ever supersede the work that has gone into that fabric that you wear so proudly, I truly cannot think of a better way to honor it than this belt.
Hey there, Steve. I couldn't write a speech this time around because all I could think of was you. And in my brain fog, I picked and chose what I could remember best. And so here it is. Torolf's really cool. We can all give him that, right? Yeah. But you know who else is pretty badass? Steve Nelson. Steve Nelson went out of his way when a lot of us, older than the Riverhawks themselves, the first generation, we're still suffering. We're still hurt. We're still looking for a peerage or a mentor, even though we thought we'd done it all and seen it all. And yet here came an old bee that turned out to be a newbie just based on how he looked. Steve listens. And it's so important. You could see it in his eyes, even before he was a knight, even before he was a part of Blackwood, anything at all. From the very first gathering, Steve listens. You know how you can tell sometimes that someone's planning on their answer to whatever you're saying right away? Or their eyes might dart away because they're like, how do I get out of this conversation? Steve always has his eyes locked on you. And Steve listens. He asks hard questions. He quietly lets you vent or bitch or do whatever you need to do. And he also kind of embodies the whole, well, were they wrong or did it just hurt your feelings? Steve, thank you from me and anybody else who might not be able to say it right this second for listening. There's so many things outside of this fantasy world that we have that bring us together as a community because we have so many different lives and different struggles. And you've felt them all, and you've been through some tough ones. You and I together especially. And you've just taken it all onto yourself. You've listened and you've listened and you've listened. And I thank you for using your sense for that. I thank you for guiding our community with a thundering velvet hand. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a knight and a mentor on the very first day you walked into our
Torolf. Hey, everybody. So it's great to have somebody else from Team Old Guy. But oftentimes I've heard that people are like, why did this person get to be brought into the knife and not that way? There's no good answer for you. But you can say, well, they're an outstanding fighter. Steve is an outstanding fighter and he keeps getting better. Love that. You can say he's done so much for the realm team. NPCs, he throws events, he does X, Y, or Z. All good things, anybody can do that. What Steve does, and not everyone does, is he brings the light. He is the light that the eternal flame goes for. When things are hot, you're in the midst of battle, people are getting hot, Steve still has that smile on his face. Brings it right down. He can still be intense in his fight. Still cool. He can talk to anybody he can. He's just the best, most honorable, most wonderful guy. And yeah, I am very honored if you will join our group.
I'm gonna try not to look at him because that's gonna be terrible.
No!
Good people of the realms. I love this man. He is wonderful. How frustrating is it for me when he enters the room? Because, as a great example, I often go to coach the Riverhawk practice up at UMass Lowell. And he, in the last year, has moved away, which is so frustrating for me because he is the absolute life of inspiration for them. He has gone 1 or 2 times this year, and the last time that he showed up, I had been working with them for so long, and they are getting frustrated with me because I am a monotonous and diligent worker that grinds them to the bone. And then he just comes in and starts his little dancing, and then they all start dancing. And they pick up on his moves so quickly, and it instilled in them the light that Neil so kindly interpreted upon you. That's a phrase. It is now, yeah. He gave them the torch, the inspiration for this game, and I can't think of a better example of what it means to be a Knight of the Eternal Flame than that, watching the literal fire kindle within them before my eyes. I spent so much time with this man on the field of battle, hearing him drum his thunderous shield, hearing him laugh as he's running into the fray, and watching him be an inspiration to absolutely so many people. I am very excited to welcome him up here.
That was a lot. They also took most of my good shit. I'm gonna do this really quick. Okay, yeah, I'm crying. A long time ago, I asked someone to help me with a little scene that was happening at TOC. Just a little thing. I just needed to fix something that I had done at Monster Island. And I'm like, hey, you're mostly sober, which is unusual at that point. And I asked him to be the voice of the forest. And I really just needed him to say like 3 things. And I was like, here, do say these 3 things. And I bring the PC over that we're dealing thing with, and all of a sudden I hear this, who is here? I pulled it down, maybe not enough, sorry. It blew me away. That was when I really first started noticing all the things that Steve is. Because at that point, he was absolutely that friggin' fighter that I can't fucking get around it. Sorry. Get around the shield. And then I started to really interact with him, and then at practices, and watched him pick up a move that he wasn't supposed to pick up that fast, and all these things. And then I finally realized, you inspire me. You're older than me. Some of us are in the old guy club. There are times in the last couple of years when I've had some real challenges. And I'm like, is it time to retire? And you're still out there, and you're still ahead of me. Thank you. You deserve everything up here.
Sorry, but this was supposed to be much more planned, and I wasn't supposed to speak, but sometimes you're just struck by something, and I don't know if it's, I don't know if you believe in things that are spiritual or you believe in things that are beyond the ken of mortal men, but it just struck me very concretely right now to speak the words of somebody that's not here today, and I'd like to speak the words of Dave Hayden that have just sort of come to me thinking what he would say in this moment. And I don't want to draw this out in a big speech, but I feel very much that what he would say if he was here is, that you were his comrade on a level that very few other people rose to the level of his comrade, and that you, almost more than anyone else, are the inheritor of his will. And then congratulations, and get back to work, old man.
Torolf, Steve, on behalf of the Knights of the Eternal Flame, I'd like to invite you into our order. Will you accept this invitation?
This was supposed to be a bit of a surprise, but
Accept this blow and no other.
Yeah!